Oh. Oh. Oh, I gotta get down. I can't go down no further. Okay. Hey, get it. Bow, bow, bow. Oh. Come on, debut. It is a new year. It is 2021, and we're just gonna reset. Unlike everybody else, I honestly believe that Normani is gonna be alright. Glad that she's back with some new music, because there's been some girls that has came through since she's been gone, and I'm not gonna say I was getting worried, but she's letting us in a little bit more. I'm very excited. It's time for the album.
Bankroll coming, baby, you know how I'm coming.
Have you heard the album? I think is the better question. I have officially got a chance to say I have listened to the album, but I think this conversation is going to be more on the career at this point, in this moment, in this breath that we take. I said I got about 15 minutes to give to this Black Queen, so that's what we're going to do. I just had to come on here because everybody has been giving their 2 cents, their little 2-piece about Miss Normani. I haven't had the opportunity to watch the content because I don't really like to watch other people's content before doing my own, so I've been holding off. We have been documenting in real time every single moment for all of my longtime watchers of Surface Town and the Record Store currently. Make sure y'all subscribing. The tail end of Fifth Harmony 2017, that's when I really started picking up Fifth Harmony. I didn't really get onto Fifth Harmony until they became, you know, the big four. That whole era, you know, when they snatched Camila off the VMA stage and Normani hit that split. You know, that's when Surface Town really started documenting the rise of Normani. First of all, congratulations, Normani, baby. Congratulations. Black Queen, you did it. Black Queen, you released your debut album. I can't imagine the journey that you have had up until this point behind the scenes, because that's where my questions come in. I just have so many questions. And I watched the interviews because I want to make sure that if Normani is speaking, that I understand where she's coming from during this time. Unfortunately, a lot of my questions were not answered in those interviews. You know, she was keeping it very lighthearted, very positive, you know, just really focusing on the moment. And I totally understand that. Let me see what time I'm on, because your boy will start rambling. I totally understand her approach right now. She's handling it in a very Sierra way. You know, I love my girl Sierra. Sierra, one thing she don't do is she don't get into the controversy. She don't get into the mess, because that whole Fantasy Ride era, like let's talk about it first. Just go a quick second. That whole Fantasy Ride era, I have so many questions, CC, because that's 2007, 2008, 2009. Like, you know, I got questions on what was happening behind the scenes that we still don't have answers to, because allegedly her team was sabotaging her. She was in between teams and managements and things like that. There was a label switch. So there was, ooh, son, are you just gonna do me like that? Do I need to set up another light? Give me one moment. We're not about to ruin this moment, baby. We are finally talking about our girl, Normani. Normani? And y'all are not gonna do her like that. All right, so my apologies. I hope it's focused. We're good. I had to put another light on me because the sun just wanted to go away. But Sierra during the Fantasy Ride era, that was a part of her commercial decline. The Evolution, to put it into perspective, the Evolution was released in December of 2006. It sold over 300,000 units in the first week, debuting at #1, right? Fast forward to 2009, in May, I think, she released Fantasy Ride. It did 90K. I want to study that little piece. And why am I bringing up numbers, right? There's this whole conversation right now that we're having on people doing too much with charts, sales, streams, plaques, certifications. You know, everybody's getting a diamond record right now. Back in the day, if you had a gold record, that was iconic. You know, Janet had like 20 something gold records. Like that was a thing. Now it's like, who's stacking up these diamond records? We're putting too much value on that, and it's tainting the art. It's tainting the music, and it's not allowing these artists to create. A lot of artists are frustrated because they need their record to be successful right out the gate. There are exceptions to that. We look at records like Mooney Long, Made for Me. We look at a lot of Doja Cat records. A lot of Doja Cat records were sleeper hits. Like I remember Streets. I played Streets out. Mind you, Streets came out in 2019 off the Hot Pink album. It didn't pop until 2021. I have been playing it that whole time. Just imagine. And you take records like Ella Mae's Boot Up. You take records like Lizzo, Truth Hurts. Several Lizzo records popped later on. So there are exceptions, but majority of artists, they're falling victim to this. You flopped initially, and then that's it. We move on. And people are not liking that. Now, there are two sides to this story. Where am I at on time? Because baby, I am not about to, you know, I could really get into it, but I don't want to waste too much time. The question I want to ask to y'all, and I want y'all to answer this in the comments, and I want to see if we can get a conversation around this. The question is, I wrote it down. How much do you believe commercial success impacts the artist and their career and longevity? On one hand, it shouldn't matter, right? The art should matter, the quality, the talent, etc., the story, all that is what should matter with music. But as we should know, and I think we all should wake up a little bit, this is a business. Big emphasis on business. Put that in all capital letters. And in order for a business to continue, what does a business have to be? Successful. Commercially successful. What does that mean? That means if you have a restaurant, motherfuckers is coming into that motherfucker to eat. The reservations are stacked. Waiting lists, lines. I think of Slutty Vegan, for instance, here in my city. Shout out to Atlanta, you know, A-Town, shout out. That was a big thing for them, having those lines and having that popularity. That helped build them up. It's all about the attention. That equals success. And you need that. That's very important. In order for a restaurant to stay open, people got to come eat there and recommend other people to come eat there. Now let's apply that to music. If people aren't coming to your restaurant unfortunately is going to close down. You know what we didn't talk about? Whether the food is actually fucking good or not. We don't know if the food is good or not. We just know 6 minutes. We just know that ain't nobody coming to your restaurant. Now, an artist as Normani has taken a significant amount of time to release her debut album, right? We all know Motivation 2019, VMAs, the music video, that whole moment. That was the official start of Normani's rollout for her debut. 2020, it was silence, right? Of course, the pandemic. We get that. She came back with Wild Side. Now to y'all, Wild Side is her moment. I'm more on the motivation side, and it's interesting. 4 minutes. Normani doesn't like motivation. That wasn't really the direction that she wanted to take. But in my opinion, and even still to this day, when I look back on that moment, that was the perfect lineup for her. She had the pop R&B. She was working with Ariana a lot. She opened for Ariana. She was on tour with Ariana during the Thank You Next Ever. Working with Calvin Harris, Sam Smith. Her setup. That setup, I don't know. That's why I'm really mad that Normani isn't getting into the meat and potatoes. Of course, we know she had personal issues with her family. Her family's going through, you know, health issues and things of that. I'm being very touchy on that. That's why I want to handle Normani with grace, because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But I want to know, girl, talk to us. You're being cute, you're beautiful, we love that you're outside, but tell us what's going on. She says she changed teams, but it don't seem like this team is doing much. Now I'm about to get into my little, I'm gonna try to keep it cute on this, you know, because we love Normani. Album announced in March, of course, no date. Announced a song, we didn't get the song for a month later, no video. Dropped Candy Paint out of nowhere, no video. Dropped the album, no Candy Paint. See, that's where I was like, Normani, You didn't even drop it when the album came out. That's insane to me. You're a visual artist. You lead with your visual. All the way to that little twirl that Nicki Minaj had you doing on Queen Radio has been a visual moment, right? Why wouldn't you lead with that? If I was a part of your team, and I hate this, I hope one day I get a chance to be a part of the industry. I just need to get into these spaces to really direct. I feel like I could do that because somebody needs to be like, this is not it. She's a visual artist. She needs to lead with her visuals. I'm running out of time and I'm getting mad because I'm running out of time and I could really continue. It was when the Candy Paint video didn't drop when the album dropped, where I was like, we're still not, there's something that needs to be said for what's happening currently, and I hate that she's not discussing that. Notice that I haven't talked about the album. We're gonna get into the album for all my Patreon. Shout out to all my vinyls on Patreon. Y'all know we just dropped the Cowboy Carter record report. We did a track by track analysis of that album like we do all albums, and we are gonna talk about Dopamine over there, so y'all make sure y'all head over to that Patreon so we can really get into this album, because I'm for the art. That's why I started the record report, so we could really get into the conversation about the music. But I believe, in my opinion, that commercial success will always be important as long as this is a business. You're always going to need to do numbers in order for you to continue to be funded. You notice everybody latches on to who's hot. Look at Glorilla. Last year, it was looking kind of cold. Now look at her. Everybody wants to work with her. She's on tour with Meg. We're seeing it in real time. We're not dumb. Call it what you want. Commercial success is always going to matter. I'm a charts guy, so of course I'm always going to love the charts and sales, plaques, all that. I love that. But I also too understand the importance of the artistic integrity and holding that up, propping that up. That's what the Grammys likes to say they try and do. Ooh, the Grammys next year is going to be a mess. But that's my time. That's my Normani video. I love y'all so much. This is Rick the Prince. I got to go to work. Ooh, and I made it with my time. For everything that we did not discuss, do it in the comments. Do it on social media. Follow us. We're always talking about music. Get on the Patreon because we will be talking about the Dopamine album. Yes. And do you feel like this is just the start of Normani? Do you feel like there's an upward trajectory for her? I'm going to answer that in the Dopamine video, but y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day, vinyls, and we out.